Good evening. I'm Rabbi Michael Stanger, but you probably already know that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this week's Torah reading. It's called Naso. And there's a few interesting things that take place in the Torah reading. First, it starts off with a census of the tribe of Levi. These are all people in Moses and Aaron's tribes. They're all cousins, family members, and they have a different census than the rest of the Israelites because they have a special role. All Levites, ages 30 to 50, the males, are expected to work in the sanctuary and later on in the temple in Jerusalem, helping to set things up, helping to work and coordinate labor with the priests, the sacrifices, and so forth. It's a special role that they had as opposed to being landowners and farmers or traders and shopkeepers. Then it goes on to describe the dedication of this sanctuary, this open-air structure, the first place of communal worship in Jewish history. And one of the things that the Parsha closes out with is that all the tribes, all 12 tribes, represented by a tribal elder or a tribal leader, comes forward on the dedication, which actually takes place over 12 separate days for each tribe to have its own day. They would bring an offering. They would bring a gift at the dedication, like someone might bring a birthday gift or a bar mitzvah gift to celebrate a special occasion. And what's interesting is each tribal leader brought the same gift as it would work out: a silver bowl, a silver basin, a golden ladle, a meal offering, an incense offering, a sacrifice of a bull, a sacrifice of the sheep. All 12 days, each of the 12 tribes represented by their tribal leaders brought a different offering, but it was the same offering. Quantity and quality-wise, it was the same. And what's even more interesting is they didn't plan it that way. It wasn't coordinated that way. It just happened. And maybe there's a lesson in this. God wants us to see that we're all the same. There really aren't so many differences amongst the ancient Israelites, amongst their tribes, amongst us today, whether we're Jewish, whether we're not Jewish. More can unite us than divides us. And by the way, that reading is what's read all 8 days of Hanukkah. Since Hanukkah isn't mentioned in the Torah, it talks about the gifts given at the dedication of the tabernacle, because Hanukkah, of course, celebrates the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem after it had become defiled by the Syrian Greeks. Also mentioned in this week's Torah reading is the story of what happens when a spouse betrays another spouse or is suspected of betrayal, of adultery, and a test that is administered by the priest to see if they have been faithful or not. It describes what happens if someone wants to be a Nazir or a Nazirite, and they have a special class within ancient Jewish history. They weren't rabbis or priests or cantors or Levites. They were people on their own, regardless of their tribal affiliation, that just decided they were going to grow their hair long. They were never going to cut their hair. They were going to have no wine or grape juice, anything that comes from the vine, or any other intoxicant for that matter, and they would never come in contact with a dead body or even a dead animal skin. You could be a Nazirite for as little as 30 days or 30 years if you wanted to be. It was a very rare practice, and you won't see it practiced by anyone today for obvious reasons. If you're Jewish, then that means you can never come in contact with tefillin or with Torah, because the scroll itself is deerskin. It was probably only ever practiced in biblical times. The Haftorah, by the way, is about the birth of the warrior Samson, Shimshon, a very strong man who got his strength from his hair and was later betrayed by his lover Delilah, who lulled him to sleep and then cut his hair so he could be captured by the Philistines. And the Haftorah, that reading is probably chosen for this week's Torah reading because it talks about a Nazirite. And these are the origins in the Torah reading for the law of the Nazirites. I think one theme throughout that you could find in the Torah of this week's reading is the theme of community and how important it is for us to come together and to try to work together for a greater good and not let differences divide us, not betray one another, not do things that maybe would set us apart from the community or make us stand out too much, but to try to work together, to show that we have a lot in common, to show that we're in this for a greater good. And sometimes cooperation, coordination is the greatest gift we can bring to our fellow human. And I think about this lesson in particular with what's going on today, because I feel we should try to coordinate and work together and try to find similarities more now than ever before. I know it's a tough time. I know it's a stressful time. I know you're hearing a lot of things in the news. I just hope you're safe. I hope you're secure. I hope you're all healthy. And if you need to, you can always reach out to me or Rabbi Stanger or Mora Mindy Kremer. We're here for you, and I just want you all to be able to sleep soundly and securely, and we're going to all get through this together as a community and as a people, as Jews and as Americans. So be well, be safe, be healthy, and know that we're always here for you.